want to say
That looks good.
hello to everyone. Hello, y'all. Thank you, y'all, so much for joining us on episode 3. We have the chat pulled up. So the first episode, we talked about getting to know A&A, which is Aviana Smith and
Anna Williams.
So, you got to know us the first episode. Episode 2, we talked about social medias, yay or nay. And we seen some people that were for it, that were against it, and how it can help us. That's kind of what we talked about, how social media helps us do our job, and also some pros and cons to social media.
Right.
So today, on episode 3, we are going to break down work-life balance. Can it be achieved? What do you think, Anna?
I think it can be achieved. What do you think, Aviana?
I think most definitely. I think we are, even though we're a little bit behind today.
I know, this was a perfect day for things to kind of go wrong. And I did not budget my time wisely this morning.
Yeah, me either. And I think that I was still behind. Really what happened was, when you're dealing with technology, sometimes it doesn't want to work on your side. And so I was trying to figure out how to get the live stream up, and then you were off on the story. So kind of working against the elements today. But we're here, and we are going to talk to you all about some work-life balance and how can you achieve it, and some of the things that we do to achieve work-life balance, because I do think it's achievable as long as you kind of have your plan laid out and you figure out what works best for you. So before we dive into kind of what we think, we're going to start off with the quote of the day. Just make sure, let me make sure I can get it pulled up for you all here. I'm looking on my screen to see where is the...
We're still learning this new digital news desk. It's very nice and fancy, but...
Okay, give me a second, Anna. You
talk to them. There are a lot of things happening here. But yeah, so I'll just tell you a little bit about why this is our quote for today. It's a quote from Christy Wright, and her book, Take Back Your Time, literally changed my life. So if you struggle with time management, or you feel very overwhelmed, like you don't have a good work-life balance, you just always feel stressed, like you have too many things on your to-do list, read her book. Christy Wright's Take Back Your Time. And we're going to actually be referencing her a lot during this episode because it helped me so much. This is the way that I balance my time. And it's the way that I do feel
balanced. So how do I put it into the...
So we're still trying to figure out how to put our quote up. If we can't, that's okay, Aviana. We can just tell them the quote today. We're going to get it. We're going to get it figured out. Is that Ross on the phone? Ross is phoned in. He is going to help us.
We got Ross on the phone trying to talk us through it. So I see the soft panel, and I'm on that, and I'm on the digital news desk monitor on Max 1. Just bear with us, y'all. See, time management.
We can tell them the quote. We don't have to put it up.
Okay.
Although it does look very nice.
Okay, I see. Oh, I got it, Ross. Okay, thank you. And I'm going to... change it to Max 1. Boom. There we go. Thank you so much, Ross. See, the phone didn't work. All right, we're off of here.
Thank you, Ross. We appreciate you
All right,
so
thank
much.
you, Ross. See, that's what happens when
Teamwork.
Ross is tuning in. Right, teamwork making sure. Okay, so we got our quote ready to pull up for y'all now. Thank y'all for bearing with us. We're on technical Right, we're taking phone calls live right here.
Oh my gosh.
So we're gonna fade into our logo first, Brighter Day with A&A, and then here's our quote. There we go.
This is our quote. Budget your time like you budget your money, which goes great with what we're talking about today. We're talking about budgeting your time. Next episode, we're going to be talking about budgeting your money.
Yes, so it goes hand in hand. So great quote. Anna picked out the quote today. It's a beautiful quote, I think, because it's important to budget both.
Yes.
But when you think about it, people do really spend more time budgeting their money. Like, oh, I can't spend this, or I can't, buy this. I have to make sure I have money to pay for this. But when it comes to your time, it's not so much.
And you can always earn more money. You cannot earn more time.
That's a good one.
Your time is very valuable.
Good.
So we should really focus on budgeting our time. So how do we do that? How do we budget our time?
That's a good question. I know you're going to tell us.
3 tips that you can follow that I got from the book that I read, Take Back Your Time. I don't want to take credit for this. Christy Wright. She's a great author. I think she's a New York Times bestseller. She actually works for Dave Ramsey, who I don't know if y'all know who Dave Ramsey is, but he's a big finance guy. He has like the Tips to Wealth and all of that stuff. A lot of you may follow him. She is actually a finance coach, but she found out that people struggle with budgeting their time just like they struggle with budgeting their money. And a lot of ladies that she would meet with were very overwhelmed because they have family life, they have work life, they're trying to, you know, eat healthy and look good at the same time. They're trying to do all these things, and you just feel overwhelmed. At the end of the day, you're like, man, my house is dirty. I didn't get it spotless today. I didn't make it to the gym. You know, I didn't eat healthy today, or I didn't have time with my kids. It's like they're trying to balance all this stuff, but they can't balance it. So we're going to tell you how you can balance it and have a nice, peaceful, balanced life. You don't have to be stressed. You can budget your time. So the first thing is, step one is decide what matters to you. You can't fit everything in.
No.
It's impossible.
There's
too many things. There's too many things. You have to prioritize what things matter to you. So I have 3 things that matter to me. Every day I'm going to have my God time, whether that's time in prayer, a devotion, reading the Bible. I've got to have that so I can have peace in my life. Number 2 is time with my new baby and my family. That is very important to me. Has to happen. Every single day I'm going to prioritize that. Third thing is my career. That's also very important to me. This job is very important. I want to do my best, and I want to be able to give 100% at all of those. Now, other things are great, but if I don't have time for those things, oh well.
Right.
Because the 3 most important things are where my time goes. And then I do feel balanced. Do you have your most important?
I think you hit it. Like, and I think that's a lot of, but I think that that's a lot of people's most important. Their time, or especially their faith, whatever they have faith in, their time with their family, because we love our families more than anything. I don't know a person who's like, oh, even if sometimes you know how family can be, you still love them. You still want to make sure that you all are connected and everybody's doing great. You don't want
to put your career over
your family at all. And then of course, but you want to still succeed in your career. You want to still do well. You want to still work hard. You want to still put your best foot forward and give 110% every time. So I think that those 3 things are wonderful. I think my 4th thing I would add to the list is me kind of working out. So even if I'm just at home, you know, like doing a little yoga video or something, you know, just to keep my body moving. You know, the little videos, they're like 1, 2, so even if it's just something as simple as that, like making sure that I'm moving my body in some type of way every day, that would go on my list. And I'm peeking ahead to number 2. Step 2 says protect what matters, and I think that's the most important thing, and that goes into protecting your peace, because all of these things that we're talking about that mean so much to us, that's our peace in our life, and you said that. So once we create that peace and have that peace, we have to protect that, and that means, you know, not picking up the phone when somebody calls. I don't want to talk right now, you know, or if I am in a point where I'm reading the Bible, or I don't feel like I'm connected, or even just reading a book. It doesn't even have to be the Bible. Anytime that you are doing something, watching TV, coloring in a page, or, you know, just taking a nice walk, and somebody calls you, you're not obligated to answer the phone for them. You're not obligated to text back, and that is what protects what matters to you. That's going to protect your peace more than anything, because if you're always the person to, every time somebody calls, every time somebody needs something, then you're kind of expending yourself more and more and more, and that's taken away from your own time. So
exactly. So that doesn't mean that you don't have time for anything else. Like you know, you can do other things. You may go out to eat with friends. You may, you know, go to a special event, a concert, whatever. You will have time for other things. But when your time is limited and you find yourself feeling that overwhelmed feeling, those things fall below the line. Kind of like the way I picture it is when we have a show, we have the rundown. Okay, well, some things go below the line because they're not important enough to make it into our newscast, because it's still news, but it's not important enough to fit in that 30-minute time segment.
That's good.
Your life is the same way. If it's not important enough to be in those 3 top priorities, or 4, just a few of the top priorities, then you don't have time. But they don't have to be bad things. It can be good stuff. You can get so overwhelmed and busy because, you know, people may ask you to come speak at their class. Sometimes you might not have time.
Say no.
And it's so hard. I know I struggle with saying no. I really do. I am a people pleaser at heart. I want to be able to meet with all of you, come to all your classrooms, stop in the grocery store and talk to all of y'all. But when push comes to shove, sometimes we really don't have time.
You don't have time,
So
or you
have to
already
smile and
booked
be like,
up,
"Keep
right?
going."
Or you already have stuff scheduled, and you don't want to overbook yourself because now
Right.
you're stretched thin because you're trying to get to everywhere
Right.
somebody needs you to be. And again, we want to be there, but sometimes we just have to learn how to say no. And I think
Right.
that's another important thing about time management, budgeting your time, making sure you know what matters to you, and deciding what matters is being able to say no and comfortably say no and not feel bad about the answer being no, because sometimes you just cannot do it.
And a good subcategory to this is, yes, step 2 is you always protect what matters, but are you always going to be in the same season of life? Are the
No.
same 3 things always going to be your priority?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all, because you would have asked me this beforehand. My top priorities was to graduate college. My top priorities was to hang out with my friends, or was to make sure I had the newest outfit
Did you spend your time
on.
differently?
Of course I did, because I was spending my time making sure I looked good, you know, versus, but you know, versus making those personal connections with my family. So the list does change. I think the older you get, the more mature you get in
Seasons of
life, and what matters to you most at that time. So if your list does change, that's okay. I think your list is supposed to change. We are supposed to change. We're supposed to change and evolve as our life sees fit. And so once our list adjusts, we have to adjust to that.
Exactly.
So I think that that's okay, knowing how to, knowing that you see that, and knowing that that you can identify that, and that's what that is. Then I think that's going to bring you even more peace, because now you're not struggling trying to get back to where you was or how you was, because you know that you're evolving right now.
Yeah. So I think it's important to take some time to reflect, what season of life am I in? Where am I at in life? Maybe you're a college student. Maybe you're a high school student. I'm a new mom, so my priorities definitely shifted. Maybe you have a new career, a new job. So the way you spend your time is going to change throughout your life. Sometimes you may have time to put your career higher up on your list.
Yes.
And you give that career, you know, everything you've got. But then as your life evolves and you have children, you get married, you have a family, that career kind of shifts down the list, and you spend less time on that, but you still do your best at everything you do, but you just shift your time around a little bit differently. Your priorities change.
Well said.
As it happens in life. That's a beautiful thing about life. All right, so the third thing that you need to do is be present for what matters. So you've decided what matters to you. You've said, okay, these are my top 3 or top 4 non-negotiables. I will have time for this every single day. Okay, you protect what matters. You have started saying no to things. If you don't have time to work out one day because you know that spending time with your family is higher up on that list, that's okay. You still have achieved what you set out to do, because you have accomplished your top priorities. Okay. So step number 3 is be present for what matters. So be where your feet are. Don't miss out. And that goes with what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
So how can we be present, Aviana?
Being present is like, be where your feet are. Where you at right now? It's taken away from thinking about any outside, thinking about whatever is going on or what could happen. Where are you right now?
I'm not doing this right now.
Right. We're not, even though y'all just see me pick up the phone and answer the phone for Ross. We were trying to figure out.
Y'all right now.
Right. We were trying to figure out something for y'all. But you know, being in that moment, like right now, how we're engaging with you all, talking to you all, it's just
talking to each other.
I often say talking to each other, being in the moment, and making sure that you are actually building life connections. We had a conversation yesterday outside of our digital news desk. So yes, we work together, but we do have conversations outside of work and not pertaining to work at all. But we were just talking about being around great people and making those connections within the building, and being able to really open up and be yourself and have a conversation with somebody when you are having a bad day or having a hard time. But that comes in being present. Anna wouldn't know that I was having a bad day, not saying that I am, but she wouldn't know that I wasn't having a bad day or was having a bad day if she wasn't present in that moment, if she wasn't aware of what was going on around her. So I think that's one thing that I think all of us could work on a little bit more, is just being present and open to the people around us, and also making sure that we're lifting each other up in those moments too.
So when you're at work, you're giving 110%.
Yeah.
You're still there for your family. Obviously, if my family calls me, I'm going to answer. But when I'm at work,
I'm working.
I'm working. This is my priority. This is the time to be working. This is where my time goes. When I go home and I'm spending time with my baby,
I'm no longer working.
Do you think that I am checking work emails? No. Do you think that I am thinking about this place at all?
No.
I mean, I would. Like, if there was some crazy breaking news and they called, I'm not going to be like,
different.
no. But my priority is, this is where my time is right now. It's with my family. So when you categorize your time, you have your priorities, and you do not negotiate. You do not be a people pleaser and say, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Right.
Because you're going to start feeling unbalanced. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to start losing yourself and not really knowing what your priorities are. You know, maybe your house is a little more dirty one week because you haven't been home a lot because you've been busy doing all these other priorities. So you really have to sit down and say, what's important to me? Where am I going to spend my time?
Yeah, that's very good. Well said, Anna, because I think that especially for us, the job that we have, people want us to be only devoted to news, only devoted to weather. But if we only devoted our whole entire life and our whole entire being to our job, where would we be? You know, where does that leave us as people? And I think that most people don't think of it like, just because we're on the TV, we're people. We're real people. We go and we pump our gas, and I think we mentioned this in the first episode too.
Like, we do normal
activities.
Somebody to pump our gas and buy our groceries.
I was
like,
say,
come
cook
on
our
now.
meals or
we
something.
are princesses here.
but on a serious note, like, I think that we have to have a work-life balance in the job that we do, because we would become so consumed
in every career,
in everybody else's life, though. No, because we're more personal, especially think about first responders or people who actually are in people's lives every day. We're technically in your homes every single day, so we invested ourselves fully to you all. There would be no us. There would be no conversations like this being had, because we would just be here. We would just be non-existent. It would just be us standing up, reading the news or delivering the weather, and then that's it. You know, so I think that having the work-life balance,
and then all your time will be gone one day,
and that's it. You know, and like, what kind of life do you want to live? How do you want to be remembered? My coach asked me that. My powerlifting coach asked me that my senior year, and that I was on the platform, I was getting ready to squat, my last squat, I think it was maybe a record breaker or one close to it, and he asked me, he said, how does Aviana want to be remembered?
You might want to tell him what you're talking. She lifted weights.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, powerlifting, my bad. I powerlifted when I was in high school, but that one statement has carried me through my entire life, because with everything that I do, I think about, how do I want to be remembered when I'm doing it? What message do I want to give to people? What do I want people to know and take away from me after I leave the room? You know, and I want it to be something positive. I want to make sure that I'm always uplifting and reaching positivity. Thank you, Anna. To people, but you know, but I can do that because I take time for me. I can do that because I listen to myself. I make sure that if I'm not feeling up to it, the answer is no. If I'm not, you know, able to do it, but if I am, I'm there and I'm present and I'm in the moment.
Yes. Straight.
And you know, I think that that's why we're able to come on here and say it can be achieved, because we're doing it. We're living proof of it really works if you make it work for you, but you have to figure out what matters to you and protect what matters to you.
Absolutely. So do you think you can be busy but still have work-life balance?
That's good. I think so, yes. Because last night, for example, with severe weather, on severe weather days are long days. Because even if you may not see me on the air, or you may not see us on the air, we're watching a screen. I don't know a meteorologist in the world who is not glued to a screen if severe weather is coming into the area.
We're all sleeping peacefully. I was just enjoying the rain on the road.
Right. We're up and we're watching radar. We're in the National Weather Service chat. We're making sure that we don't have any warning. And that warning that came in Lee County, I was like, oh my, you know, I'm going to have to get up and go to work right now. But it was like 9 o'clock in the morning when that warning first popped up, and 9 o'clock at night, excuse me. 9 o'clock at night. And so 9 o'clock at night, I'm normally in my bed sleep, but last night I was up, and so I've been up on and off again, taking little cat naps, you know, because what we do is so important to us. But I'm busy, but I also still have enough energy to still, and it's 10:24, almost 12 hours later the next day,
because
and I still have enough
what
energy.
You love, what you've budgeted time out for. So I think a busy life is a balanced life if you're the right kind of busy.
Yes.
If you're in your calling, you have your priorities straight.
That's well
you're
said.
You're following these steps.
Naps.
You're saying no when you need to say no and give yourself a little break. You can be busy and balanced. And I don't think enough people understand that. They hear work-life balance and they're like, I don't have enough time to just lay around or sleep, or I'm just too busy. But if you are prioritizing the right things and you're being busy doing the right things, you feel this peace and balance.
Yeah, and then you don't have to like write everything out. Like you know, identify what matters to you, yes. But in terms of time stamps, like at this hour, I'm going to lay down. If that works for you, that works for you. But I don't do that. I just, all right, it's time for me to shut down. You know, it's time for me to go over here, decompress, watch TV. Then when it's time for me to do something else, then that's what
you
that
don't
time
have like
is,
an hour by hour schedule.
You know, it's just allotted for that time.
Crazy for that. You can't really plan for everything.
Yeah, and then that goes back to being present. So in that moment, I'm present and I'm watching TV. You know, but when if my sister calls and she says, hey, let's run to the store, I need to grab something or anything, you know, I'm going to go and I'm going to be present there. Now, but that also is, now I'm spending time with my family. I get to see my nephews. We're going to laugh. We're going to joke. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to come back home. Then I'm going to get ready for work. You know, so it's like making sure, always making sure that I get back into bed at a decent time. Most times, though,
try to get some sleep.
Even recently, though, you know, I have me and my friends, we've been hanging out, and so I'm like, all right, y'all, I can stay out one more hour, you know, but that's me still prioritizing what's important to me in that moment, and me being present in that moment, and me making memories with my friends, you know, because I'm not going to get that time back with them. So then I'll be like, okay, I can spend a little extra time or wake up a little extra earlier to get myself up and ready for work.
It really is like a budget.
Yeah. You really have to budget. You really have to balance out. And like we said, figuring out what matters to you in that moment, being present in that moment, and, you know, just enjoying life.
Exactly. So we challenge you to maybe sit down today. You don't have to write out a list. You can just have them in your mind. You could just be driving, walking around, doing your job. But think about, what is important to me? Where do I need to spend my time? You know, I know that I've kind of gotten to where I do have a new baby, and so I'm not able to keep my house as pristinely clean as I like to, but I always, at the end of every day, the kitchen is pristinely clean and like the main living area. So I know that's going to be clean. You know, the baby's room might be a tiny bit messy. I might have piles of laundry in my room, but it's okay because I know that I have spent my time with my baby, with my family in the moment, not running around keeping my house looking pristinely clean. Those of you with young children probably understand. I don't even know yet. When he's a toddler, it's going to be it's going to be a lot different. My house will not be pristinely clean.
It's so funny that you say that. My sister has two young boys, right? Two little boys. They're 7 and 8, 8 and 9, 7 and 9. Is this the same sister? Yes, this is the same sister.
There's going to be another baby soon.
Yes, another baby soon, y'all, to come. But so, I asked her, I'm like, why are you always cleaning up every day? Kids leave a mess every single day.
It can stress you out if you let it.
You know, and I was like, why do you clean up every day? And I realized, I'm like, these kids leave a mess. Kids. Whew. I don't know. When we were younger, I'm sure we did the same thing. I'm sure we did.
I know. I actually painted the walls with fingernail polish.
Yeah. See, I was that kid too. Like I drew all over the
walls.
Mom's soul. I was that kid too, Anna, just in the stuff I didn't have no business getting into, trying to stick my hand in the stove, on the pots on the stove. So yeah,
but
I know kids can be something else.
That's how they learn. Yeah. And when you do have a messy house like that, maybe it's not as perfect as you want it to be. If you've spent time with your family and your kids, they're going to look back and be like, wow, my mom was a part of these memories. They're not going to be like, oh, she was always cleaning. She was always on her phone. She wasn't present with me. Yeah. So just think about those things. What do you prioritize? What do you define success as? What is success to you? Success isn't being rich, having a fancy car, having it all together. That's not success to me. Success is having a rich, full life, a family you love, friends you love, a job you love. Yeah. That is success. So if you can end your day knowing that you are happy, you spent time with loved ones, you did your best at work, you did your best at whatever your priorities are, then you were successful. Even if you didn't get that load of laundry done, even if you didn't have time to wash your car, even like you can't get everything done every day or you're gonna feel unbalanced.
I agree, Anna. Well said. I think that we don't have any comments or concerns in the chat right here. Do you have anything else you want to add to that? I think that was I think that hopefully you know, you all are thinking about your list, thinking about what matters to you in life.
And we would love to hear your list.
Yes.
Please comment and tell us, what are your priorities? Where do you spend your time?
Do you think a work-life balance can be achieved?
Do you disagree with us?
Have we inspired you?
It's okay to disagree with us. If you don't think it can be achieved, please comment. We would love to know. Oh, Jaterica's commenting.
So we have our first comment of the day. Take what matters to me, be present for me.
Amen.
This was good. Thank you so much,
We
Jaterica.
love you,
Yes.
Jaterica.
Our 3 main points. That is well said. Anna, thank you for sharing that with us from your book that you read that changed your life.
Yes.
And so just keeping us keeping us connected here with you all on Facebook. We can thank Meridian Community College for
Yes.
that. Thank you so much, MCC, for sponsoring our digital news desk today. And we don't have any more comments in the chat, so we're going to let you all kind of gather those comments and gather those thoughts later on, and you can drop them here, and we're going to continue to monitor the chat,
and we'll
like
comment back too.
We will, and like we did our recap at the beginning of this episode, we'll do another recap, and if we have any comments, then we'll kind of mention those before we start episode 4. But I think for now, A&A is
Out.